All right, in this presentation, we're going to look at proportions and percent. This is problems 23 through 27 on the final review. Okay, so just a reminder that when we talk about proportions, we want to line up related quantities vertically and horizontally. Remember that related quantities either appear in the same sentence or have the same units. In order to solve our proportion, we want to cross multiply and then solve the resulting equation. So the first problem that we have is problem number 23. The stock market report says that 5 stocks went up for every 6 stocks that went down. If 750 stocks went down yesterday, how many went up? So let's go ahead and translate to a proportion. The first thing that I'm going to do is we have 5 stocks went up for every 6 stocks that went down. So I'm going to go ahead and put my same sentence as my first fraction. And so now where do we want to put the 750? Well, it says that 5 stocks went up for every 6 stocks that went down. We have 750 stocks went down, which means that 750 will go on the bottom. And we have x on top. Okay, we want to go ahead and cross multiply. So we get 6x equals 5 times 750. Remember, no calculators. So let's go ahead and multiply this out. We get 750 times 5. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 2 is 37. All right, so we get 6x equals 3750. We want to divide by 6. Again, no calculators, so let's go ahead and do this off to the side. 6 goes into 37 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. Subtract, we get 1. We bring down the 5. 6 goes into 15 2 times. And 2 times 6 is 12. Subtract, we get 3. Bring down the 0. We get 6 goes into 30 5 times. And 5 times 6 is 30. So we get x equals 625 stocks went up. Okay, so there's our proportion problem. The next one we have is a percent problem. I'm going to use the percent proportion on this. So remember that the percent proportion is percent over 100 is equal to is over of. Once we have our proportion set up, we can cross multiply and then solve the resulting equation. Okay, so we have 600 orders is what percent of 400? So we are looking for our percent. So I'm going to put P over 100 equals, remember is over of, so we're going to put 600 on top of 400. I'm going to put my 400 on the bottom. So if we cross multiply, we get 400. P equals 6 followed by 4 zeros. All right, we go ahead and divide by 400. I get P equals, I'm going to go ahead and cancel 2 zeros just to make it a little bit easier on myself. Remember again, no calculators, so we're going to divide 600 by 4. 4 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract, we get 2. Bring down our 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. And 4 goes into 0 0 times. So we get P equals 150. And we do want correct units, so we're going to include our percent sign. All right, let's look at a couple more. 25, we have our circle graph. Remember that we have percents, and so this is going to be percent times the total. So we have 400 people were asked what they disliked about the holidays most. We want to know what portion of adults had a fear of putting on weight and too much family time. So we want to start by determining the desired percent. So what are we looking at? We have fear of putting on too much weight, which is 26, and too much family time, which is 6%. Total, this is 32% of our total. The next thing we want to do is multiply the percent in decimal form times the total population. So 32% as a decimal is 0.32. My total population is 400 people. And we want to go ahead and multiply this. So if we multiply 400 times 0.32, again, no calculators. The first thing I'm going to do is move my decimal point and cancel some zeros. So what I want to multiply is 32 times 4. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. So we get 128 people. And we're done. All right. The last problems that we're going to look at is tax and discounts. So for 26, in order to find the amount of tax, we're going to use the percent proportion. So we have what is the amount of tax on an item that costs $72 if the tax rate is 6%. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my proportion. My percent goes over 100. 72 is the original cost of the item, so it's going to go on the bottom. And again, I want my amount of tax, my unknown, to be on the same side as my tax rate. All right, so we have our proportion. We can go ahead and cross multiply. We get 100x equals 6 times 72. If we go ahead and multiply this, We get 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 7 is 42 plus 1 is 43. So we get 100x is equal to 432. And if we divide by 100, we get x equals 4.32. I'm going to just move my decimal point 2 places to the left. It does not ask us to find the total, and so we are done with this one. For 27, we have a sale price. And so we have, in order to start this problem off, we want to use the percent proportion to find the amount of the discount. And then we want to subtract the discount from the original price to find the sales price. Okay, so we have a TV that regularly sells for $320 is on sale for 20%. So let's go ahead and set up our proportion. We have 20 over 100. To find the amount of the discount, I'm going to put X on top with my percent, and I'm going to put the original price of my TV on bottom. All right, we go ahead and cross multiply. We get 100x equals 2 times 32 is 64, and I add 2 zeros. If we divide by 100, we get x equals 64. So just remember, this is the amount of the discount. This is not the sale price. To find the sale price, we're going to take our original price of the TV, and we want to subtract 64. So in order to do this, I'm going to borrow from the 2, make it a 1. And the 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 6 is, 10 minus 4 is 6. We're going to borrow from the 3, make it a 2. The 1 becomes an 11. 11 minus 6 is 5. And we bring down our 2. So $256 is the sale price. All right, that takes care of the problems involving proportions and percent. In the next section, we're going to be looking at geometry.